It is Friday, July 31st. I wish it was Saturday, but it's Friday. Welcome to the Morning Drive presented by Skolfield Sports Performance and the Reed Allen Community Fund. I'm your host, Thomas Curtis. Thank you so much for bringing me on your morning drive. Plenty to talk about. The Red Sox taking another series. We've got some NFL news as camp heats up, some injury news, some contract news, good and bad for the players. Jarren Duran made a fool of himself. We've got the Patriots text line and plenty more. Of course, Schofield Sports standout performers coming up later in the episode. We'll talk a little bit about the Reed Allen Community Fund and more and more and more, as I keep saying. Yeah, Red Sox win it 5-4 last night on the West Coast. It ended up at around midnight, and I've got a cough already. Excuse me. So, I suppose we'll get right into the news here on July 31st. Chris Olave signs a 4-year, $132 million extension with New Orleans, a guy that's had some injury concerns in his career. But Chris Olave is super impactful first round pick for the Saints, who could never really push the ball down the field when they had Drew Brees back there with Olave. It was $90 million guaranteed. So yeah, 2022 first round pick, as I mentioned. Now that they've got a QB that can kind of push it down the field with Tyler Shuck, I think they're more ready to give Olave a lot of chances. And it's not like his injuries are, he's got a bad knee or he's got a bad back, so he's missing games. I mean, this guy's just getting crunched over the middle and is getting concussed, so he gets paid. Next up, Debo Samuel returns to San Francisco. We thought it was over. I mean, you didn't think it was over, but you knew he had one more stop left in him. And if this isn't the most Celtics Shack, you light my fire. Um, that was not bad. Should I become a rapper or a singer? Probably a singer based on that. This is the most Celtics Shack. This is kind of over for Debo Samuel, especially returning to San Fran. But he makes it back to the 49ers. Baker Mayfield and the Bucks aren't close on a deal, which kind of why would they? At this point, how old is Baker Mayfield? He's former first overall pick, of course, but really struggled. Um, First couple years. I mean, he's 31 years old. I think if you're the Bucks, what kind of direction do you have? Vita Vea just requested a trade. I don't know if that was contract negotiation, like I want to get out of here or pay me, basically. But I don't know why the Bucks would give Mayfield more than a 2 or 3 year deal if they don't feel like he's their guy until he's 36 years old. And how much can you depend on any 31-year-old quarterback to be your guy until he's 36? I don't think the Bucks should rush to make this deal. I wouldn't mind overpaying a little to pay him till he's 33. He said he was disrespected by the 2 year offer in the offseason. Like, why? Um, I mean, I get it. You want the security, but you've got to take the money when it's on the table. Sneaky Baker Mayfield career earnings. Where do we sit on the former Sooner? Right now, he's making $27 million into his bank account. How do I find career earnings? Is the question. He's on a 3 year, $100 million deal. You can't really find the career earnings for some reason. Oh, career earnings. It's on Spotrac. $158,760,000. It's a lot of money for Baker Mayfield, but a first overall pick, you can kind of see 160 mil. One more $100 million contract gets him to 260. So I don't blame him for holding out for a better contract. Moving on to MLB, Shohei Ohtani rests Thursday. He's got a huge series starting Friday against Boston when the Red Sox come to town. So Sox will see him. We'll be talking about Shohei this weekend. He rests up. The Mets begin their fire sale. They deal AJ Minter to Minnesota for two minor league infielders. I didn't really take a look at the prospects for a reliever. How expensive can they be? I suppose actually that kind of sets the market on the reliever. So AJ Minter prospect return. 2024 second rounder in Minnesota. He got 23 homers in Double A and a single A infielder. Yeah, okay. So that market kind of feels right for a reliever. AJ Minter on the season. What are we? I don't think he's that great. I mean, he's not, um, you know, the biggest reliever on the market, but a guy that will help Minnesota for sure. Steady lefty. Um, 288 in the postseason. So I mean, Minnesota makes it, and he's pitching leverage down the stretch. Like he's a good guy to have. I deal those two infielders every day of the week for him. We will move on to the Patriots text line. Tucker hit me with a text last night, actually while we were at dinner, but pretty well fleshed out, and I think he makes another good point. Tucker, kind of killing the game. We'll get him on at some point, I hope, to this show, just because he all he does is talk ball. So that is something we can look forward to in the future. But as for right now, the text line, I'm just bringing up the Patriots depth chart just to have something to talk about. The lack of depth at linebacker is more concerning to me than anything off the edge right now. Last season, when Spillane went out, our run defense dropped to bottom 10 in yards per game. Gibbons left in free agency. Ellis has been a good piece, but he's not sure how he'll fare if Spillane goes down. Pats probably should have been in on Devin Lloyd, Leo Chanel, or at least drafted an off-ball guy sooner than Namdi Obazor in the 7th round. Yeah, like I said, hitting the nail on the head, Tuck. It's Ellis and Spillane at the inside linebacker positions. And then KJ Britt. KJ Britt still around, or is this a new KJ Britt? 27 years old. KJ Britt still around, but Namdi Obazor, Otis Reese, Chad Muma. Chad Muma, former 3rd round pick with Jacksonville in 2022. Yeah, no, Tucker makes a good point. When you look at that depth chart, it's not really an impressive group. And when you don't have a guy like, when the system isn't like Duggar, or doesn't involve guys like Duggar or Jabril Peppers, the linebacker room takes a hit. And they didn't really do much to address it in the offseason. Spillane was really good last season, a couple picks. I don't know what his season stats were. Uh, he had 48 solo tackles, a sack, forced fumble, and 2 picks. And he missed, how many games did he play last year? I wish they had that, but he missed a couple games for injury there in the middle of the season. So you can kind of bank on Spillane being out because he plays that position of, you know, violence at the inside linebacker. So I think they're in the market for cut candidates on other teams, or, young athletes that they can kind of develop into ball hawks. But I don't think they're done at inside linebacker. And Tucker makes a really good point. Devin Lloyd signed for under market value to Carolina this season. He was a decoy candidate in Jacksonville, and I kind of was looking to be in on him, but certainly maybe doesn't fit Vrabel's scheme, or they didn't want to pay that much for a linebacker that might miss. Might just be a miss. He might be a one hit wonder. But if you look at the Patriots draft, which I'm gonna go ahead and do now, 2026 draft, and of course I'm so into the Red Sox right now that the Patriots stuff kind of isn't flowing as freely in my mind right now. But it's offensive tackle Lomu, probably the right decision. Gabe Akis. Jeez, that how long is that name gonna get me? Gabe Akis, in the 2nd round at 55. Eli Raridan, the tight end from Notre Dame, at 95. Karen Prunty at in the 5th round. Demetrius Crownover is the offensive tackle in the 6th. Namdi Obazor in the 6th. So the 6th round tuck, not the 7th. Baron Morton in the 7th. Jan Miller in the 7th. Quintavious Hutchins in the 7th. The problem is they traded that 4th round pick. So like the first three, I agree that the linebacker depth isn't great for New England, but I kind of don't see them taking anybody over Lomu, Akis, and Akis. God, Gabe Akis and Eli Raridan in the first three. Linebackers drafted in the 2026 NFL draft around those spots, so you kind of have to get out of the first round. We've just got a bunch of top fives on this list that I clicked on, of course. Like, Josiah Trotter would have been cool, but Namdia Obazor is got a 6.1 on NFL.com. So like CJ Allen, Kyle Lewis, I don't know how many of those guys you take over Lomu, Akis, and Raridan. So it's tough. It's a tough kind of situation because your linebacker depth is bad. But I think they are going to scout out guys that get cut from other camps. Um, and yeah, I think Lloyd or Chanel would have been good signings, but you know, there's only so much money to go around. I see 4 people viewing. We've got people in, I assume, the Twitch chat. We're going to move on to the Red Sox 7th straight series win in Sacramento against the Athletics, but we lose 2 viewers there as I say that. But the 2 of you that stayed, if you've got something to say, we will move on to what you have to say before um, the Red Sox and A's series, and then we'll do some Sox Dodgers preview. It's not much, honestly. I've got work. I'm gonna leave for work in under an hour, so it wasn't a big sheet, and I stayed up till midnight to watch the game last night. So not a ton of energy, but we've got stuff to do. We've got stuff to get through here on episode 10. No comments, so we will move on. Red Sox win their 7th straight series. They beat the A's 5-4. Uh, you kind of go into Sacramento hoping for an offensive explosion. Teams that really do put the ball out of the yard have them. Sox don't. So the Sox don't. 4-2 win, 4-3 loss, 4-2 win, 5-4 win. +4 on the series against Sacramento. It keeps your um, scoring differential, run differential in the positives, but it's still a weird series. My player of the series is Andrew Monasterio. The shortstop, even though he made a multitude of errors, 5 for 14, 3 RBI, a home run, and 2 walks. The home run, of course, wins the game last night in the 4-2 win. He showed just a ton of fortitude in that 4-2 win with the homer. Wilson Contreras, another guy, kind of struggling a little bit when you look at the batting average, or if you're just looking at hits per AB, but he's 3 for 10 with a homer and 6 walks. You know, really gets the line moving. Wilson Contreras does. Everybody's favorite, Jarren Duran, 2 for 15. Last night, he shows up Wilson Contreras by yelling run across the field. I mean, he's at the dugout. Contreras is on third base. Hands in the air, like drawing attention to himself. What the hell are you doing, number 16? If I may remind you, you're batting 191? Is that where we're at? 2 for 15 on this series, only 2 singles. Really didn't do much. Nothing personal, he says. Actually, I'd like to read this article. Oh, Contreras, unbothered after Duran gets heated. He says, Red Sox downplay it. Gee, I mean, get this guy out of here. You talk about a terrible player. 195 on the season. 13 homers. What did 11 of those come in May? 252, 337. It's a 589 OPS out of your left fielder. If you're a contending team, how do you keep running this guy out there? Decent outfielder. Runs a little bit, but I mean, he's showing his teammates up. Here is the next chapter in the Jarren Duran experience saga. Like, I keep saying it. I feel like once or twice a month we get some bullshit. We got the Milliken stuff. We got this. Going all the way back to flipping off fans, yelling at fans. Like, he's just not good enough to keep doing this over and over and over. And as we approach the trade deadline, a guy hitting sub Mendoza line, like, it was kind of a joke until May. And then you start looking at the stat line, under 200 with all the shit he does. Straight up, not a good hitter. I feel like, I mean, last night we'll do this. Last night he, I wonder who gets on ahead of Durbin. So, I think it was Rafaela. Well, you're no. It must have been Wilson walked or something like that. Can't remember who's on base. Durbin's up. No, not Monasterio. Sorry, I'm trying to guess, but Durbin's up. Duran on deck, and they bunt Durbin. We were bunting Durbin to get to Duran. He strikes out, obviously, because what is his strikeout rate? The strikeout rate is terrible. It feels like you're watching 2021 Duran again. 29% strikeout percentage to a 6.5% walk rate. Straight up, not a good player, hitter, baseball player. Gabe says they got to trade him. Agreed. The pitcher of the series was Sonny Gray because we've got a big series coming up in Los Angeles. And he goes 7 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned. The 4 earned is tough against the A's, but when you eat 7 innings and we only have to go to Weiser and Chapman, so Chapman's probably down tonight against the Dodgers unless you really, really need him. And you think you can squeak out a win because we'll talk about that in the Dodgers preview, but you've got to squeak out whatever win you can against the best team in baseball. So Gray eats a ton of innings. You don't have to go to Bayo. You don't have to go to any of these guys. And Whitlock rests, Slayton rests, Guerrero rests. All these guys get a day of rest, which is really super nice for the bullpen. So he's the pitcher of the series. It could have been, I mean, if they win that game, it probably goes to Jake Bennett, but it ends up in Sonny Gray's hand. Like, Jake Bennett doesn't give up that homer. We're talking about a sweep. We're talking about Jake Bennett as the 7 inning guy who eats innings. Gray eats more innings, but gives up 4 runs. So, what if? For the offense yesterday in the 5-4 win, Rafaela goes 2 for 4 with 2 RBI on that one double. He clears. There were players on second and third. Rafaela knocks him in. Abreu has been really cold. What was he? 2 for 30 or so? I don't know what the exact slump was, but he breaks out of it with a homer. Hopefully, something encouraging as you get on the bus to LA. So he comes up with an RBI. Contreras goes 2 for 3 with a homer. That was just a solo homer. They go back to back. That was cool. The Abreu jack, and then you're like, all right, now we're tied. Now we go. And Contreras comes up, first pitch, leans on one. Just leans on one. Boom! How far did that ball go? You have to wonder. I can get it right here as we keep talking. Monasterio was the player of the series for me. If we're talking catch up for the Section 10 podcast, my prediction is Monasterio because he was really, really good. Contreras hits that ball 414. I feel like he's always hitting them 400 plus. So my catch up, my player of the series is Monasterio. He goes 1 for 4 with a RBI single. We talked about Sonny Gray. He's 13-2. He couldn't wait to get that ball after the blow up on Saturday against Toronto, and he makes up for it. So the loss that put him to 12-2, he makes up for it. He's 13-2. Weissert with a clean inning in the 8th. Not completely clean. He gives up a hit, but no runs and a strikeout. Chapman, his 26th save. Title of the stream is Good Team Beats Bad Team. It's kind of how it is. They win 3 of 4. They do their job. They didn't look awesome, but I think the win was taken out of their sails after Mead goes down in the first game, and they're just we gotta go back to this offense. But they do it. They do enough. Is it concerning that they scored what 4-4-3-5? That is 11. That's 16 runs in 4 games. 4 runs a game. Hashtag MathPod. Is it concerning that they scored 4 runs a game against the A's and now they've got to go play against the Dodgers? Yeah. But how many games do you expect to win this series? We'll do the probables in Los Angeles. It's the third place 57 and 51 Red Sox at the first place, the best team in baseball, 69 and 40. Nice Dodgers. Tonight on Friday the 31st at 10:10 p.m. Way late. I mean, God, what am I gonna do till 10:10? Um, I'm actually going to see Spider-Man. We'll talk about some media stuff. Going to see Spider-Man. Uh, Pumped up for that. We'll talk about that later. Suarez is 4-3. He's got a 3.02. Yes, Gabe. I'm pumped up. I'm excited. Suarez is 4-3 with a 3.02. Edgardo Hernandez is the opener for the Dodgers. I didn't really read up on who their bulk guy will be, but he doesn't have a decision with a 2.79, a reliever for them. He's righty. Sox really struggle against right-handed pitching. Tomorrow, as we open up August at 9:10 p.m., Peyton Tolley throws again. He's 6-6 with a 3.32 against Cy Young candidate Yoshinobu Yamamoto. 11-6 with a 2.72. The righty, they lose that game. You can almost book that. They lose that one. Sunday Night Baseball, 7:20 p.m. Looking to salvage. Jake Bennett, 6-4 with a 2.74 against Emmett Sheen with a 4.7495. Another righty, but an extremely hittable righty. I mean, this guy's got nearly a 5 ERA. Those are your pitching probables. Back before the Blue Jays series, so that would be last Thursday. The baseline for me was 6-4 for this stretch between the win streak and the deadline. Currently, they're on pace for it. They're 5-2. If they don't get swept, you're at 6-4. Anything more, I'm impressed with. You can win this opener game again. I don't know their bulk option today. Dodgers bulk Friday. Yeah, it's a bullpen game, so I don't know. I mean, how many guys you see for how long. So a bullpen game's winnable. You get to one of those bullpen arms and they have to pivot, and all of a sudden, like Yamamoto probably gives them 8 innings tomorrow, so they don't really care about who's throwing tonight, just like rest wise for Sunday. But then you'll have sort of a tax bullpen where everybody threw a couple innings Friday or Saturday. Again, you win one of these three, you're excited against the best team in the NL. You just got to kind of keep pace. You end up at 58 and 53 into the deadline. You're 5 games up. Of course, would you like to be 60 and 51? Yes, but it's not very realistic. A sweep of the Dodgers, I'll be on here talking insane. I'll be on here talking like, you know, best team in the league, straight up. Um, they don't have anybody really on fire, but they've got all the best names in baseball. That's the analysis for the Dodgers series. We'll talk more about it likely tomorrow or the next day because I don't have work, so I'll be bored. And we get a good game tonight, Suarez versus the bullpen, and we could be talking. And I had a ticker for this preview. There it is. It looks dope, doesn't it? Game my prediction officially is 1 of 3. So there's the ticker. We will move on. We're going to go to everybody's favorite, the Skolfield Sports Performance Standout Performers. Skolfield Sports Performance, everything you need to get to the best level, the next level, the best level, if you so choose. In the chat right now is Gabe Michaud, Skolfield Sports athlete, one of the best to ever come out of there. Farmington athlete. I mean, that's a guy that, you know, Skolfield helped get to the next level. Skolfield has worked with so many high level athletes. Cody Belker is one that comes to mind. Wyatt Neto for the Gorham followers. Throwing at Vandy nowadays. Kyle Schofield, it's in the name. Colin McDonald's a guy that worked there or worked out there. They have so many guys that have gone through that program, and they've done a really good job with those guys. And it's also not the guys or girls trying to play at the next level, but it's the guys or girls that are still standing out in Maine high school sports. I feel like 85% of the standouts have dropped through that program and either educated themselves on how to you know be the best in the best physical shape they can be, or they've been there for years and years and they are the top of the top. So Schofield Sports Performance, these are the guys that were at the top of the game last night. We got two nationals to start it off. Luis Garcia, 3 for 5 with a homer and two RBIs. Washington lost to Atlanta because that's kind of how it goes. Dalen Lyle with two solo homers. He was 2 for 4 in that same game. You get 3 homers and you lose the game. That bullpen is just so bad. Just really, really bad for Washington. I didn't see the score, but, kind of predictable that Washington loses to Atlanta. Ellie De La Cruz, member of Grand Slamonero, 3 for 4 with an RBI in the win against Pittsburgh. Noah Cameron goes 8 innings in a loss to Minnesota. He 8 innings, 1 hit. He threw 97 pitches. I mean, Kansas City's not playing for anything. You can't at least get a complete game shutout out of one of your young guys. They pull him. Cody Clemens hits the walk-off homer, walk-off grand slam. I was going to add him to standout performers, but a 1 for 4 and a grand slam in the 9th inning against the Royals. Eh. Cool for Cody Clemens. Sean Burke goes 6 innings, shutout, 10 Ks. Sean Burke's been really, really good. I kind of want to look at what he's doing fantasy wise. He only gave up 3 hits to the Yankees as the White Sox salvage. They not even salvage. They split a 4-gamer. I was really down on the White Sox early in this series. I was like, this is kind of what they are. Sean Burke, part of PJB Sox. In the last week, 12 innings, 20 strikeouts. He put up 2 6-inning 10K performances in the last week against the Yankees and Houston, two teams with really good hitters in their lineup. Gabe in the chat, Schofield's the best. Aren't they, man? Aren't they? He's right. Yeah, so Sean Burke, 2 straight standout performances, I believe, here on the morning drive. Shout out to him. Yeah, the White Sox will, as we move into 3 up, 3 down, because that's where we are in this episode, of course. The Yankees in the first wild card go to Chicago, who host technically the second best team in the AL. They split a 4-gamer. Yanks take the front 2. Sox take the back 2. Like I said, was super, super down on Chicago because their pitching is just not great. And I feel like their situational hitting isn't awesome. They hit a ton of bombs. But, take Colson Montgomery, for example, a member of the Roman Empire in my fantasy team. A guy that is probably the worst player in baseball with the bases loaded. I've kind of been down. I was super up on the White Sox because they were fun. They were hitting bombs, like I just said. But I don't know if they make any noise. I don't think it makes sense to buy for the White Sox, especially not. You don't give up anything of any youth of value. I think a half a season isn't enough to see what you really have. Let's see, men in scoring position for Colson Montgomery in 2026. It's a 188 batting average, 606 OPS. he's got more or five more RBI with men in scoring position than RBI without men in scoring position. That's not true. That was just 2025. I totally made that stat up. Bases empty, 2026. He's got half the RBI, but he's batting 230 with empty bases. So, yeah, I mean, Chicago's just they're the young, fun team, and they beat the Yankees twice. Let's do this, but nothing really impressive. Say they take 3 out of 4 against the Yanks, your eyebrows raise. I just hit my mic. I feel like I do that once an episode. 8 a.m. Way too early to do these podcasts. Whose idea was that? And I click to the MLB. Saturday. Oh, they've got the Rays at the Trop. Good lord. And the AL Central. Cleveland's 2 games back, and they've got the Diamondbacks. So it's a good series, but I mean, they're not guaranteed to catch them this series, but 3 at the Trop. Nobody wants to play 3 at the Trop. For my next 3 up, 3 down from last week, Chicago and St. Louis. Like I said, always a good time. Chicago takes a series 3-1. They've got a 5-game lead for the first wild card. They look kind of like a shoe into the playoffs right now. And Milwaukee's the second best team in ball, so, I don't know if they catch them. Texas at Tampa Bay. Texas avoids the sweep. Like we were just talking about with Chicago, can they avoid the sweep? They lose the back two in close ones. They're 55 and 54. The Rays lost McClanahan 3 innings into his start Wednesday, so that's definitely something to monitor. I thought I saw elbow soreness, but I'm not completely sure on that, so make sure I don't spread any misinformation. Um, Mid back tightness, not inflammation. So still not a great injury for your big lefty pitcher. Tampa Bay keeps rolling. I feel like they never lose at the Trop. Now for 3 up, 3 down this week, we've got the AL West showdown for the division lead. Texas visits Houston. Houston a game or half a game back. I believe they're 500. Texas is 55 and 54. You got to go now, Texas, if you want to win this division. I think they're less hurt. Rangers IL. Young's on the 10-day IL. Seager's starting to rehab. Yeah, so they're not healthy, but I mean, Houston is and they're hot. So that's the first game of 3 up, 3 down. The Yankees head to Wrigley for a 3-gamer. That's, a series where the Cubs are hot. Yankees kind of not, but also still a really good baseball team and they can pitch. It's the Yanks' awesome pitching versus the Cubs' top offense in ball. And then the Orioles, 2.5 games out of the American League wild card. They host Philadelphia. They could be buried by Sunday. Like next time we talk, if they lose 2 by Saturday night, if they lose 2 by Sunday, it's probably over for Baltimore. So that's a game to kind of highlight because they're 4th in the American League East. For the Red Sox, the comfortability of 4 and 5 in the AL East aren't doing anything this fall. It helps a little bit. My 3 down are the Royals at the Rockies because, oh my god, I don't care. Giants at the Padres, kind of a fun series because I like Petco, I like the Padres. They need to win that series. But, Los Hibros Giantes, who really cares? And then Brewers at the Angels. When will the Brewers play a real team? I feel like they've got the easiest schedule ever. They just rotate playing the Royals, Rockies, and Angels. Not that I care because I've got Miz throwing every 5 days in fantasy. But I feel like I can't make a judgment on the Brewers right now. And I haven't been able to since this podcast has existed because they just keep playing shitters, as they say. Let's see. Now it's time to talk about the Reed Allen Community Fund. Um, one of the best organizations in Gorham. Really, if you've got an issue and you need some support, Angelo Sigaropoulos' Reed Allen Community Fund is there to help. The 2026 golf ball drop is Friday, October 16th, 2026 at Gorham Rams football homecoming halftime. That's a huge thing that they do. I explained it last episode, but you can buy golf balls and then they go up on top of the fireman's ladder and drop it down towards the hole. Closest ball to the hole wins a whole prize. And also the 2026 Casino Night, Saturday, November 14th at Junction Bowl, sponsored by the Shaw Brothers Family Foundation. Another really fun night at Junction Bowl, a great spot right in the middle of town. And they do, the casino night. Who doesn't want to try and win some money at a casino night where everybody in Gorham's at? That's what the Reed Island Community Fund has coming up here this fall. And finally, before we end this off, because it's 8:02 a.m., Gabe asks for predictions on the Spider-Man movie. You know what? As into the Odyssey as I've been, I haven't really started thinking about the Spider-Man predictions. I just kind of haven't, because I've been thinking about Odysseus and Telemachus and Penelope, um, Helena Troy, right? Uh, I'm not. I think the best part about it is I'm not really going into it with any expectation. Obviously, I want it to be good. Sony does a good job with the Spider-Man movies, but I've got a 9 to 5 today. I'm going to see the Sea Dogs tonight. Anthony Ianson starting with my grandmother and two brothers. Some good seats there, thanks to Mass Construction. So we'll see that, and then I gotta go home and probably wait an hour until we get up and go to the theater. Oh my god! So I'm not really going into it with any expectations of it being, this spectacle, especially because I've seen the Odyssey this month. Like, how much more can I ask for? And the best part about it is they've framed this as a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man movie. It's not this huge, big whole. No Way Home was awesome because it had Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, but I feel like there was so much going on. The Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man that I like do the thing where they keep it in New York and they keep it local, and you're thinking of the citizens. You're not thinking of what Spider-Man's decisions, how they will alter history, right? Um, and so I think because he's not remembered by anybody, the scale will be much lower. Mark my words, this is going to be better than the Odyssey, Gabe says. I don't really have a reaction to that. 93 on Rotten Tomatoes already. What was the Odyssey? I think it's going to be good. Like, I really don't disagree. Yeah, they're at 94. So, I mean, they're going to be right there. I think it's going to be a really good movie, and I love Spider-Man. So, like I said, not going into it with big expectations, but it's not because I don't want to be disappointed. It's because I don't know what to expect. And I'm kind of excited about that because, yeah, that's where I'm at. Well, probably no episode tomorrow because a long ass day today, and a guy needs his sleep, especially after this. We get out at 1 a.m. of this theater tonight. Um, but maybe Sunday, and maybe we do a late episode. I do have an update on August 2nd. Be on the lookout, or it'll be August 3rd, the morning of the trade deadline. We're gonna premiere. Um, I've got Jake Zanola. If you've been following me for a while, Around the Diamond with Jake and Thomas was a podcast we did back in 2020, 2021. Um, he's really doing his thing. He's got like 10,000 followers on Twitter. He writes for Bleacher Nation. We're going to talk a lot of trade deadline. I'm sure there will be some Cubs talk because he can't stop talking about the Cubs. But we're going to record that Sunday night on August 2nd. And you guys will see that August 3rd. That'll be the episode for the trade deadline. That's going to be a boatload of fun. I'm excited to talk ball with him. We're going to really try and get some more guests on this show. Talk more and more ball, especially look at some football-oriented guys as we get into the preseason. Another big update as we reach almost a 40-minute episode. Um, First overall pick in the Dirty Dozen. I'll keep you updated on that. But that is all I have for episode 10. Thanks, Gabe, for chilling in the chat. Thanks, everybody else, for watching live. I'll see you Saturday or Sunday for episode 11.